welcome back to TF1C. But today, we're not going to be talking about F1, we're talking about Formula E. The electric racing series went to Berlin in this weekend's most recent round of action as the championship takes yet another massive turn. It's round 7 and round 8, another double header. And it was a weekend which has, I think, somewhat flipped around the championship a bit.
Yeah.
Because it was looking like a four-way battle before. Mm-hmm. Vandoorne, Vergne, Evans, Frijns had a comfortable advantage over everyone else. But Mortara, with a first in round 7 and a second in round 8, has completely flipped the championship. He now finds himself P2, while Vandoorne, picking up P3 in both races, has extended his advantage to 12 points over Eddie Mortara at the front. So yeah, a lot happened. We unfortunately didn't watch round 8 because we were busy live streaming on the football channel. But yeah, we did obviously watch round 7, and I like Berlin because it has that change between the first and the second formats. So that's fun. I do think that adds something different because a lot of the a lot of the double headers, the first and the second race can feel very samey.
Mm-hmm.
But
even, for example, it does change the race results because, for example, DS to Cheetah were not as quick in round 8 on the flipped layout than they were in the race on the Saturday.
Well, it looks like it's going to be a Merc Power Unit dominated championship now.
Yeah.
De Vries, not been up there the reigning champ all season, came through with a massive win in round 8, and Grassi, who's also struggled for pace this season, was P4. Very unlucky to miss out on the podium, and gave Vandoorne that P3 late on. But yeah, I'm when I don't watch it, De Vries and Grassi, my guys, have the best weekend of their race. But yeah, as I mentioned, Vandoorne tops the championship now, 111 points. Do you think Vandoorne will win it? We've now halfway through the season. We're at the exact halfway mark.
And he leads by what?
And he's got a 12-point advantage on Mortara. Realistically, it's impossible to call because it's Formula E and anything could happen.
Obviously, I still think I want Vergne to win it, and I still think he can. He's only 15.
Man, I think Sims is going to win the championship.
No, he's only 16 points behind. Speaking of Sims, obviously,
he was stunning, wasn't he?
Fantastic in quali.
Got P2. And then obviously dropped to P6, didn't he?
At first, didn't qualify for the battles, but when we then got penalised for in the pit lane infringement thing, which meant that Sims did advance through the battles.
Wasn't it? Well, it can't be fuel, but I think it was energy overuse, wasn't it? Something like that.
Something in the pit lane. And then he got into the back duels, and he was superb and got all the way to the final.
He was unlucky to not get P1. There was that. He got the exact same lap time as Jean-Eric Vergne, didn't he?
That I was furious about.
He did drop down to P9 though, Sims, in the race. But still, a very solid weekend for a driver that hadn't got points.
Because Vergne should have been in the final duel. They got exactly the same lap time.
I think there's a little bit of discrepancy there, but equally, Vergne should have been slapping Sims anyway. They shouldn't have been close.
But still, but you can't say that.
And it's not going to happen again. It's so rare, the chances. I don't think the whole rule needs to be looked at in depth. It's just the chances of it happening are so unlikely that I don't think it's that concerning. It's an FE thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've just got this weird rule, and everyone's like, well, how does that happen?
That wasn't meant to happen. What do we do now?
It's a lot less weird than last season, where you just end up with the back markers always on pole because of track improvement. That was horrific. But yeah, it was a good weekend for German teams.
Yeah.
Porsche, decent. Round 1, they got a 4.6, which was strong. And then, of course, Merc. Merc did had P3 in both races with Vandoorne, and De Vries won the second one.
Round 7, which we watched. In terms of attack mode, you saw this driver would take attack mode, he'd fall back, then he'd swap around with his teammate to make him faster, and then then they'd go back and then forth and back and forth, and everyone just kept swapping around positions, which then meant in the early stages, really, throughout the whole race, to be fair, it was just swapping around until we finally...
On the topic of attack mode, I obviously didn't see the round 8, so I can't really talk about the attack mode usage there, but I think in the first round, DS to Cheetah really screwed Da Costa.
Yeah.
Because he was right up there fighting for it, ended up P8. After he got kind of shuffled down the order. Bird got P7.
I think it's fair to say, though,
his best result of the season.
Mortara won that race. I mean, he obviously drove superbly, but but the attack mode strategy from Rocket Venturi was superb.
Also, that feigned move on
Just the dummy on Vergne.
Yeah, where he went wide to make Vergne go up the inside, thinking he had a chance, and then Vergne, wasn't great into the corner, and Mortara switchbacked him.
Mm-hmm. Very,
very intelligent, and it cost Vergne a load of time. And then Vergne was fighting with Vandoorne.
The thing is, we said it in the preview. It's exactly what a double header like Berlin, where it's two different tracks, is where the championship can change, especially at the halfway point. And Mortara had that weekend.
But I'd say both Mortara and Vandoorne, because I know Vandoorne was right up there. But I'd argue that before going into this weekend, I'd have backed Vergne to win it over Vandoorne.
I think it was very important that
a big point
Vergne beat Vandoorne in race 1, because in race 2,
it was. Let me get it up.
Miles off.
Vergne was P9 in the end.
Yeah.
Same position as Sims in the first race.
Not a good race 2.
Yeah, obviously, we briefly mentioned Mahindra, but a brilliant weekend for them.
Yeah.
9th with Sims in round 7, and then 7th with Roland in round 8. I know I did watch briefly through the race, just kind of skip through round 8 because obviously we didn't see it. And Roland was up in 5th at one point. Obviously, then lost out to Da Costa and Frijns, but still, Mahindra demonstrating that they've got some decent pace.
Yeah.
I do think currently P8 in the championship on 12 points. I think they could get Andretti in 7th.
Yeah.
There's only 18 points in it.
Yeah.
Mahindra in good form. Andretti, I think they've been the biggest shock of the season.
Definitely. I thought they'd do much better.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Dennis was on to win the championship. He was up there in the fight for it until he obviously crashed in Berlin in the championship finale last season.
Suggests that he kind of got helped out by the old quali format.
Yeah,
maybe he wasn't as
well,
good
it suited
as
him.
everyone thought he was.
It suited him to a T because he'd have. Well, I think it also helped De Vries and co because they'd have a really good race, end up near the front, then have a shit one, which would drop them in the championship order lower into a low quali group, and then they'd be able to push forward again.
Obviously, Dennis didn't appear in the fight until late on, but that is because for most of the season he sat in Group 3, Group 2,
and then he ended up.
He
was in Group 3. He managed to come through right at the end and built up some momentum that then meant when we got
I do think
right
it
at the
did
end.
surprise me this season when seeing Andretti that low. You mentioned De Vries,
especially because Askew was really good in the first few races, and then he fell off.
They both were.
I think they made a mistake getting rid of Gunther. Because I think Gunther's a good driver. He's kind of been stuck in a very poor Nissan.
I mean, Buemi and Gunther had a terrible season in Nissan.
Yeah, I mean, level on points with Mahindra says a lot.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, Mahindra obviously a team with a lot of history in Formula E, but the last 2 seasons not been great for them. The only reason I think the only reason they got points last season though was because
and obviously that Alex
weird
won in London
quali format,
and Alex Sims got a podium in Rome because he did a bit of a strange dance.
That was the best thing I've ever seen. I have to say, Alex Sims, what a guy!
He's a great guy.
Because everyone else looks like a racing driver. He looks like an IT guy that built the car, took it round once, and was actually pretty quick. So they went, you know what? Go and have a go. We need a driver. Have a go.
It was great to see him start in the front row. I'm just a bit, disappointed he didn't do well.
Didn't convert that into something more positive.
Speaking of starts, round 8 start. The second race, De Vries off the line, superb.
Absolutely sensational. I mean,
that's what you got to do. He basically said to Mortara, "I'm taking the inside.
I had nothing to lose."
Coming through.
And I think that's De Vries' advantage now because Vandoorne, Mortara, Vergne, they can't afford to drop points because they're right in the championship fight. De Vries in 6th though can send it down the inside, and if he breaks his car, so what? He's not in the championship fight anyway, and it's not like he needs to do really well for a seat next season because it doesn't seem like he's staying in FE. Looks like he's going to go to the World Endurance Championship WEC. He might end up staying in FE with McLaren Racing. That was a big announcement for Formula E just before practice
Great
1.
To see. More teams.
Yes, that'll take us back up to 12 now with AB Sportsline, McLaren Racing and Maserati replacing the outgoing Venturi Merc and of course Audi from season 6.
Yeah.
So season 8 we're going into now.
It's great
season
to see more. Thing is, obviously we are losing a big name in Merc, but McLaren, Maserati, all big names.
Yeah.
Abda returning. You've got Porsche and Jaguar. Obviously, what's the other?
Yeah, it's just season 8. We're going into season 9 now.
You've got big companies, big
I think it's what it needs.
Brands.
Big names
exactly.
getting involved because they bring eyes onto the sport. Like McLaren joining
It's huge.
is huge because McLaren fans, a lot more than Merc fans, are very, they're passionate about the sport. They will watch FE. Also, I don't think Merc have that many fans. I think Lewis has a lot of fans.
Exactly.
But then they're just Lewis fans that like Merc. They're not fans of Mercedes as a team.
I'm not a
Mercedes
Lando
don't
fan
have that
or
history.
Ricardo fan. I am a McLaren
Exactly.
fan.
McLaren have a lot of McLaren fans because people like McLaren past and present. Whereas
Yeah.
Mercedes don't have that past in any kind of motorsport to look back on. So McLaren, I think as a brand, brings so much more than Mercedes.
And I think there's some very big.
And orange is going to look peng.
It will.
we've
I just
got
hope they don't bring out the liveries they put in this year.
Yeah. The cars in FE this season are a little bit all the same colour. But the orange is going to pop.
Speaking of big names, also we've got big cars joining. A lot of rumours with new teams, brings new drivers. Obviously, Sebastian Vettel came out and said about how he feels
on Question Time.
He doesn't know whether he's going to be
unsure
in
about his
F1
future.
because he feels they're going around the world damaging it.
I don't think he'd then switch to FE.
Do you know what I mean? He loves racing, and it's what he'd want though. Surely, eventually to go electric.
I don't.
But
I don't see the point for him.
Yeah,
I don't see why he needs to be in a... Like, Gio had no real offer, so he went there, and then he's been shown up that actually FE's harder than he thought, I think. Because it's not just about racing, you do have to manage energy and stuff.
That's the other person,
and I don't think there's any
the other big
point
name
for Seth.
was Fernando Alonso.
Well, apparently, Zach Brown is obviously wants to move him in there. I think that's
because Zach Brown
and
is
if Alonso's
CEO.
and their mates still get on, despite obviously the shit show that McLaren was in 2015 and 2016.
We know we won't see Vandoorne.
I want Alonso in the McLaren IndyCar team, and I want Rosenvist in the FE team.
Obviously, Felix Rosenvist has already been in FE.
Former Mahindra driver,
which I think is big.
Was widely considered to be one of the best drivers in FE at the time. I think him jumping back in the McLaren, he has experience. I think he's the perfect option.
FE is huge because the whole energy saving, attack mode strategy.
And I think Alonso would be massive for IndyCar.
That'd be great.
Absolutely massive for IndyCar. I think he'd do really well out there as well.
And what's the thing they call it when you win?
The Triple Crown.
Triple Crown.
So he has the Monaco GP. I think he has Le Mans. He just needs the Indy 500 to win, to claim the Triple Crown. Only one driver before has done it. That's Jim Clark. Sir Jim Clark now. Sorry. But yeah. Other new teams, of course, DS Penske are believed to be joining together with Verne and Vandoorne linked. So that's exciting.
Clearly, McLaren do not want Vandoorne next year if they're Formula Racing.
Yeah.
Techeetah will be staying by themselves, so it will just be Techeetah Racing.
Oh yeah, they are, aren't they? Which will be interesting to see who they have, because Da Costa is going. Well, it's believed he's going to Porsche to partner Pascal Wehrlein. So a new look Techeetah lineup could be very interesting. Could be. I think they'll get Lotterer back.
I think this is big for me, obviously, because I am a DS Techeetah fan this season, but I do think obviously McLaren joining FE is an obvious choice to who I'll support next year and for the remaining Formula E season.
And then De Grassi and Mortara without a seat next season, with Venturi leading. In fact, the only 3 drivers confirmed are Cassidy. It's either Cassidy or Frijns at
Cassidy.
I think it is Cassidy at Envision, and then the Jags have confirmed that Mitch and Sam Bird will both be continuing there.
Christ.
Which is interesting.
Mitch Evans, great driver.
Done really well. Sam Bird struggled this season though. Yeah.
What was the
Team Championship we've not really discussed.
The drivers moving.
Sure.
Surely would De Grassi go back to Abt? Surely Daniel Abt would want him back in it.
I've also heard rumours McLaren. It makes a lot of sense to bring experience in.
Rosenvist and him
they would tear it up. Considering McLaren, I think they'll bring something quick. I think they'll probably bring the Merc engine, which is currently dominating. I know it doesn't really make a huge difference in Formula E, because obviously they control the energy and such, but still.
Through the constructor standings, then we'll probably call it a day there.
Sure. So Merc currently top it, of course, with Vandoorne, De Vries and 6th. The problem is, no team has had 2 consistent drivers.
No.
That's only now that De Vries is starting to emerge for Merc. But De Grassi hasn't had a great campaign. While Mortara's 6th.
Yeah.
Verne's in 3rd. Da Costa's 11th. I think. Let me have a look.
I don't know.
No, he's 10th now.
Yeah.
Great job him. De Grassi's 9th. Then Venturi second with obviously Mortara bringing a lot of points. Sees them climb above Disachi, who are now third, but there's only 11 points between those two. On topic of 11, 111, Jaguar. But that's interesting because Bird's down in 12th on 28 points.
Vandoorne's got the same amount of points as Jaguar.
No, I did see that.
Evans
It's
on
funny.
83.
Jaguar
Bird is
111,
crap.
28. Porsche P5, but they've got no one in the top 6. It's just that Andre Lotterer and Vergne have been very close this season, so they've worked well. And then in Vision, Frijns has got 81 of their 97 points. Cassie's really struggling. Yeah, he's the one that's continuing next season.
Thing is, though,
Makes sense.
Second quali, he got to the duels and then took a load of components and started from the back again.
Confusing. 7th, Andretti, 30 points, as we've mentioned, having a tough season. Mahindra, 18 points behind them in 8th, and joint with Nissan in 9th, as they're both on 12 points. 10th is Neo, 7 points. Obviously, they picked up a massive round of points at Rome in the second race through a bit of carnage. And then P11 was the Dragon Penske team, who have the only team yet to score a point, and their drivers the only 2 yet to score points. Which is mental, because Seti Camera, as demonstrated by round 7's quality duels, does have pace. He's just reckless. I don't know what the Christ is going in that. On that. Well, Gio lost out to Cassidy, who started from last and then took a 10-second stop-go penalty, and Gio was still 5 seconds behind him at the end of the race.
Unbelievable.
So Cassidy has driven into the pit lane, stopped for 10 seconds, driven out again, and then got so much quicker than Gio, these ended up 6 seconds or 5 seconds ahead. But yeah, I think that's where we're going to round up our Berlin E-Prix review. I'm very excited to see what Jakarta, a debut for Jakarta, never seen before in the FE, and the start of our second half of the season.
We have no clues, can be quick. Well, we'd have some clues, not
You can probably guess
Gio
that wins every race.
He finds a new little shortcut.
Yeah, every race is just goes through the pit lane, zooms. Yeah, no, that would be great. But yeah, that's about all. Thank you all very much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you're new. And now I know we're now on 28, so maybe we can get to 30 subs. Who knows? Make sure to go check out the football chat if that's your thing as well. It's always linked in the end screen. If you want to check out another video, in fact, it's probably our FE predictions. That'll be over that side of the screen, I think. If you want to check out the channels, they'll be here. But yeah, thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you next time.
See ya.